Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to talk about some music theory stuff that many piano teachers don't seem to teach for some reason. More specifically, I want to run through a couple of alternative methods that we can use to find notes inside scales that even some of my friends with grade 8 piano certifications don't seem to know. For those of us who have taken some classical lessons, we learned the traditional way of finding scales, which was to memorize all the key signatures for each scale. For instance, let's say we need to find the notes in a G major scale. To do this, we would need to know its key signature from memory, which is F sharp, and play the notes from a lower G to a higher G while adding a sharp or flat to every note found in the key signature. However, this traditional method might not be for everyone, as not all of us want to deal with memorizing 12 key signatures and 24 scales. As such, in this video, we'll run through some easier shortcuts to deriving scales that require much less memory. Before we dive into these methods, we need to be familiar with the concept of semitones. A semitone, also known as a half step or half tone, refers to the smallest musical interval in Western tonal music. On a piano, two notes that are right next to each other are one semitone apart. For instance, these two notes are a semitone apart, as they are right next to each other. These two notes are two semitones apart, and these two are three semitones apart, and so on. Let's start with finding the notes inside major scales. Instead of memorizing 12 key signatures, we can find the notes of a major scale by counting semitones. We can easily do this using this bunch of numbers. Essentially, each major scale has 7 notes, and these 7 numbers show the number of semitones to move up by each time we move to a new note. For instance, let's say we are trying to figure out the notes to the C major scale. The first note will always be a C because it is a C major scale. Now we need to follow this string of numbers and move up by whichever number of semitones the numbers tell us to in order to get the other notes in the C major scale. Our first number is a 2 here, and thus we move up by 2 semitones from our latest note, which is C. We land on the note D, and here we have the second note of the C major scale. Our second number is another 2, and thus we move up another 2 semitones from our latest note D, and we land on the note E, and here we have the third note of the C major scale. Our next number is a 1 instead, so we move up by 1 semitone from our latest note E and land on the note F, and here we have the fourth note of the C major scale. We repeat this for the next 4 numbers in the sequence 2221, and we get notes G, A, D, and C again. When we combine these 8 notes, we get the notes in the C major scale. This method applies for every single major scale. For instance, let's say we now need to figure out the notes for the E major scale. The first note is an E, as the E major scale will always start with an E. Following the numbers, we move up by 2 semitones and land on an F sharp, another 2 semitones and land on a G sharp, 1 semitone and land on an A, 2 semitones and land on a B, another 2 semitones and we get C sharp, yet another 2 semitones and we get D sharp, and finally 1 more semitone and we have E once again. Don't worry if you haven't written down the numbers, as I've included all the numbers in the description down below. For now, let's move on to the minor scale. Here we have 2 types of minor scales, the natural minor scale and the harmonic minor scale. Let's start with the natural minor scale first. Traditionally, we learn that each major scale has a relative minor scale. This just means that the major scale and its relative minor scale have the exact same notes but start on different notes. To get the relative minor scale from a major scale, we take the 6th note of the major scale, which is 3 semitones below the first note. For instance, let's say we have the C major scale and we want to find its relative minor scale. We take the 6th note of the C major scale, which is A, and there we have the relative minor scale, which is the A natural minor scale. Here, the A natural minor scale shares the exact same notes as a C major scale, but it starts with a different note, A. Of course, some of us don't wish to deal with this relative major and relative minor thing, as stuff can get confusing sometimes. As such, we can also use the same method we used to derive the major scales in order to find the notes inside the minor scales. Here are the semitone numbers for the natural minor scale. Let's say we want to find the notes for the E natural minor scale. Following the numbers, we start from E and move up by 2 semitones and we land on F sharp, which is our second note. Next, we move up by 1 semitone from our latest note F sharp and we land on G, which is our third note. Next, we move up by 2 semitones from our latest note G and land on A, our fourth note. As we continue moving up a number of semitones depending on our numbers, we get our 5th note B, our 6th note C, our 7th note D, and our 1st note E again. And there we have the notes inside the E natural minor scale. Now that we have an idea of how to find the notes inside natural minor scales, let's move on to the harmonic minor scales. Essentially, a harmonic minor scale is a natural minor scale but with a raised 7th note. For instance, let's say we have the A natural minor scale here. To find the A harmonic minor scale, all we need to do is to take the 7th note of the A natural minor scale, which is G here, and add 1 semitone to the 7th note, turning it into a G sharp. That's it. We simply need to sharp the 7th note of the natural minor scale, and there we have the harmonic minor scale. If you're interested in how we can derive harmonic minor scales using the semitone numbers method, here are the semitone numbers for the harmonic minor scale, but let's not run through this process again, as it is pretty much the same as the previous examples. The last concept I want to cover in this video would be deriving minor scales from major scales and vice versa. For instance, let's say we need to figure out the notes inside the C natural minor scale, but we are only familiar with the C major scale, and don't wish to count semitones from the start. To get a natural minor scale from a major scale, we simply need to flat the 3rd, 6th, and 7th notes of the major scale. And to get a harmonic minor scale, we simply need to flat just the third and sixth notes. For instance, here we have the C major scale. If we take its third, sixth, and seventh notes, which are E, A, and B, and flat them, turning them into E flat, A flat, and B flat, we get a C natural minor scale. Similarly, if we flat only its third and sixth notes, and turn E and A into E flat and A flat, we get a C harmonic minor scale. Notice that the first, second, fourth, and fifth notes remain the same for both major and minor scales. The converse is true for deriving major scales from minor scales too. To get a major scale from a natural minor scale, we need to sharp the third, sixth, and seventh notes. And to get a major scale from a harmonic minor scale, we simply need to sharp the third and sixth notes. For instance, let's say we want to find the notes in the A major key, but we only know the A natural and harmonic minor scales. From the A natural minor scale, we sharp the third, sixth, and seventh notes, which are C, F, and G, thus turning them into C sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. And there we have the A major scale. Also, from the A harmonic minor scale, we simply need to sharp the third and sixth notes, turning C and F into C sharp and F sharp, and we'll get the A major scale too. This method works for all major, natural minor, and harmonic minor scales, and can be applied to all of them. All in all, there are multiple ways of figuring out notes inside different scales, be it pure memory or deriving them from a variety of ways. Do whatever works best for you, and I hope these new tips will be helpful in saving you time should you need to find the notes to a scale. With that, thanks for watching, and I hope this video has provided you with value in some way. If it has, do consider giving this video a like, as it really helps out this channel in the long run. Also, I upload tutorials and guides for playing the piano by ear and improvisation every Tuesday and Saturday, so do consider subscribing if you don't wish to miss them. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.